And then I can take it off of YouTube.
I think we're live.
Oh, okay. Yes, we are.
Yay!
Let's start again. Here we are.
If you are disturbed by what you see, then we, my friend, are the Oasis for thee.
Oh, I like that. That's good. That's good.
Wonderful. Okay, welcome to Disturbed Oasis Pod. I'm Sean.
I'm Lisa.
And we're going to show you how disturbed we are tonight. No. So we want to start off with the national level. Is that true?
Yes, but let's also say that this is being streamed live to YouTube only tonight because we can't stream live to the Facebook page until we're there for 60 days.
Yeah.
So we've still got a little time.
Mm-hmm.
We also figured out why we're not able to stream mobily, which is when I'm out doing interviews or we're at events or whatever, because to stream live to YouTube that way, that's where you got to have the 50 subscribers to YouTube.
Yeah.
And we still need, I think, 13 or 14 subscribers.
Yeah.
So please help us get to that goal because I really want to do straight live streaming on YouTube and Facebook. But we have to meet the two parameters of 50 subscribers and then 60 days on Facebook.
Yeah. And the only reason we're able to stream live to YouTube now is because we have the Streamlabs. That's what enables us to do that.
And we're using a desktop.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's not mobile.
Yeah.
Apparently that's.
Yeah, so please go subscribe on YouTube. That'll really help us out, and then we'll keep moving this along. And we're getting close to being able to stream on Facebook too, so it's all falling into place.
And also because I'm not streaming on my personal page anymore, for people to see us, they're going to have to actually go to the Facebook or YouTube. So also we want to get more followers, obviously, on our Facebook page because it's not going to be available on my personal page pretty soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Making sense. We need more coffee.
It's time. Yeah, it's time to subscribe.
Yeah.
It's time to subscribe.
So help us with that. All right. Yeah, we have a lot of local stuff to talk about, but we want to start from the national level and work our way down. Sean?
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see what's going on. Okay. Well, how do you feel, Lisa, about the government shutdown? Do you still call yourself a Democrat?
Well, of course I do.
Okay, so as a Democrat, do you feel that the Democrats are making the correct call with the current shutdown that's going to start tonight?
Yes.
Okay, tell me more. Why do you think that that's the good call?
I didn't say it was a good call. I just said I agree with it.
Why do you agree with it?
Because something's got to give here.
Okay.
We cannot continue to move forward with so much unconstitutionality going on, and what they can pass this anytime.
Mm-hmm.
They have the White House, the Senate, and the Congress.
The Republicans, you mean?
Right, of course.
Okay.
So if they wanted to keep the government open, they could have done it by a simple majority. But now it's this cloture thing, or
cloture.
Cloture, yeah, how do you pronounce that?
What? Mm-hmm.
But the Democrats are saying that we don't want to move forward with some of the things that were in the bill, namely about health care, because if it does move forward, it will cut health care off.
Mm-hmm.
So they can get this passed with these negotiations, but they're not going to because they want it just to pass. I'm not explaining this very well.
So you think that the Democrats want to shut down?
No, I don't think they want to shut down. I think what they want to do is stop the progression of the bill that cut Medicaid and health care. Okay. And people are saying it's for illegals, but illegals don't get health care in the first place. That's not true.
Well, it's a sleight of hand. There are immigrants that receive the health benefits, but they're immigrants who are here lawfully.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Right.
Right.
But what I'm hearing everybody say is that it's to stop illegal. Somebody just said this on Facebook today. He's like, well, if you go to an emergency room, you're going to see them because they cannot refuse health care. If a person walks in, they're not going to ask their legal status if your arm's broken to fix this.
Yeah.
So my response was, well, why don't you ask them for ID and then call ICE? I mean, don't be an asshole. You're in an emergency room.
Yeah.
I was being sarcastic, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they should be turned away if they're illegal and they got a sick baby or a blown off foot or something?
Well, no. They don't even check insurance status, when they...
Right. There's an emergency. There's emergency to take care of. But the point is, it's not free health care, free doctor's visits, free everything for people if they're illegal because you can't get Medicaid if you're illegal. You can't get food stamps if you're illegal. You have to have ID and Social Security numbers for all that. I know. I went through it when I was young.
Well, okay, so and then what it appears to me to be is that the Democrats are negotiating for pandemic era health coverage. Like that's what they're negotiating for. As the thing that they are saying is the bottom line for this shutdown. And now, do you think that it really boils down to healthcare, or is there just like a will on the Democrat side for a shutdown, and so they boiled this down to, okay, this is the thing we're going to negotiate for?
I think the main fighting stickler is for healthcare.
Okay.
Because what was done in that other bill that was passed was just horrible.
Mm.
Taking so many benefits away from people, and you know, what really frustrates me about this is the argument that people are capable of working and they're getting Medicaid. Know that. Why does every Tom, Dick, and Harry think it's okay for them to judge? Of course there's abuses to the system.
Yeah.
Of course there is.
There's a lot of it. Yeah.
But tell me this, if there's 10 people that need help and
Mhm.
2 people are abusing, are we going to sacrifice the other 8? And is that what Jesus would do?
um, I would like to think that Jesus wouldn't entangle himself with this healthcare system at all. Me personally. Um, okay.
But anyway, back to what your question was.
Yeah.
I think that's a big nugget of it.
Okay.
But I do think there's a little bit more around it because everyone is so frustrated about the lawlessness and the unconstitutional actions going forward that yes, maybe that's some passive aggressive.
Mhm.
I'm going to sit down and wait this out because we're already suffering what's a little more pain.
Right. That's what I get. I get that there is a will amongst the Democrat base to do something and to do something to oppose the Trump administration and to be seen as like resisting or pulling whatever leverage the Democrats can muster, being in the minority and all across federal government, to do something to oppose the Trump administration. I guess my big concern about it is that I think that Russ Vogt is kind of like foaming at the mouth, waiting for the shutdown to start so that he can lay people off.
Repeat that again. Who's foaming at the mouth?
Russ Vogt.
Who's Russ Vogt?
He's considered one of the big. He's OMB. He was OMB under the first Trump administration. I believe he's OMB again under this administration.
And you think he's frothing at the mouth to shut down because
he's going to fire a bunch of people?
Oh, so said that. But
he's he's considered one of the architects of Project 2025.
How do you spell his last name?
VoughT, I think.
Vought.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if this is a strategic blunder because it looks like some of the Doge cuts are back on the table more or less. It seems that like we'll say bought if that's less confusing for people. That if that Russ bought is in OMB, they've made it very clear that they're going to use the shutdown to not bring back everyone.
Well, there was an email sent out.
Yes.
About that. Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
So that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if the Democrats have already been outplayed here because it seems that the shutdown's already on track. Like that's like already obviously happening. It depends on how long it's going to last. It seems that elements of the Democrat base have been pushing for this because they want to see some kind of resistance action against the Trump administration.
What have they done so far?
Well, Jack Tibley split. Jack Tibley split.
They worded letters. Pink paddles. I mean, yeah, they complain about and then vote for whatever.
Yeah, and I just think sort of like what we see locally, has Schumer passed his expiration date?
Of course, Mamdani.
Mamdani, yes. Has Schumer passed his expiration date? And I'm thinking maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Most of them have. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing, and this is something I wrote on my wall today. They still get paid. 6 figures. The lawmakers are still getting paid. Yeah. So what they're doing is they're hurting us. And you said something about have they been outplayed? This isn't a damn game. But they're making it a game. But normal people's life. I call us all normies. You can say blue, red, Republican, Democrat, whatever. Yeah, normies. Doesn't matter. We're just normies. I'm good with that. Because I think this is a full-on class war. It is. Yeah. No, it's very, very obviously a class war. Okay, so in other words, there are no good choices. It's like there are no good choices for the Democrats here, but you think that moving forward with the shutdown is the best play. I'm not going to say the best play. I think right now it's probably the only play. What the hell else are they going to do? It's the only play. The Supreme Court is in
what does it mean to you as a Democrat that they're pursuing the shutdown? Like, do you obviously have a part of you that supports it? Do you feel
Yeah,
better? Do you feel better that the Democrat leaders are trying?
I do. I just hate that this is the route because I know how much this hurts federal workers.
Yeah.
I know how much this hurts people. But this government is so damn dysfunctional. You know, it's like when you're in a bad marriage. What are you going to do? You're going to keep letting them beat you up?
No comment.
Well, if you like that kind of thing,
No,
maybe.
no comment.
Hmm.
How good are the beatings? But no, so
So
no,
anyway,
I'm gonna go back to no comment. That I'm gonna
okay,
go back to
I'll accept no comment.
no, but well, yeah. So I mean, that this is my take on it, and having a little bit of detachment of being an independent, it's like I think that the regime's gonna get what they want out of this. I think that they're going to they're going to fire some people, and I think that at most we're looking at like a tug of war. We're looking at like a political tug of war. Some people do think I was listening to Breaking Point's podcast earlier, and they think this is going to drag out. Like this is going to be like one of the longer government shutdowns in recent history, and that may be the case, but I'm just wondering. I don't see how the Democrats win this at all. Like I think they're going to get some political points, especially millennials and Zoomers, to be looking like they're doing something. But then the ultimate cost of this is probably going to outweigh what they get out of it.
When was the last shutdown?
2018.
How long did it last?
I don't remember.
35 days. Who was president?
Trump.
Hmm.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
No, no, no. Trump doesn't care. See, that's what I'm saying. Like Trump doesn't care. So it's like blowing your wad. It's like people are putting a lot of energy behind this, but to me, it's like okay, you're gonna blow your wad, but what are you actually gonna get? That's my question to Democrat leaders. What are you actually gonna get?
It's like on the one hand, I want to say I just don't care. Burn it all down to the ground because you know why? Because it hasn't affected me yet.
Yeah,
And that's the problem with our culture.
that's the problem with all of us.
Yeah, it has to affect me before I get pissed off or do something.
Yeah.
We've got to get out of that
Yes,
mindset.
yes, yes. Yeah, we have to stand up for the atrocities when they occur.
This is why we're doing what we're doing. A big part of why we started this podcast.
To get people to stand up,
Yeah.
to get people to express themselves.
Do something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to rehabilitate Americans to kind of taking charge and being at the steering wheel. I mean, America fell asleep at the wheel, and that's how we got to where we are. And America fell asleep at the wheel for like decades. It didn't just happen overnight. This has been building for a long time.
And I care about everybody. I want everybody to be successful.
Yeah,
unless they're, a psychopath or something.
I'm good with psychopaths, but psychopaths have to eat too, Lisa. I mean, it is.
And they can eat in prison then. Or a mental ward.
Well, I mean, if they break crimes, yeah.
If
So,
they break crimes.
I mean, if they commit, yeah, if they hurt people.
Hurt people, I have no kindness for. I don't have a place in my heart for them.
We desire justice.
Yes, fairness and kindness. That's my big thing. Be kind.
Justice, fairness, and kindness.
I was in the Centero little path place, whatever, getting my TB results today,
Mm-hmm.
and they've got a huge placard in there, and it says "Be kind," and they got a bullet list. It's like no profanity, no this, no that. They tell you exactly this is how you're being disrespectful and unkind if you do any of these behaviors. It was great. I'd love to see one everywhere because people seem to have lost that basic characteristic we should have.
You were negative, right?
Huh?
You were negative, right?
Negative about what? What?
UTV test. Something, right? Since we're breathing the same air, it came back negative, right?
Yes, we're fine, but my COVID does.
Oh, you have COVID? It's okay.
Yeah.
I have natural immunity to COVID. I'm good. Okay. Now, okay. So, are we done with shutdown? Do we want to move on to free speech?
Well, shutdown, all we can do is wait I will say there's because you said that it's going to be ineffective and whatever, but there's a No Kings protest. God, I want to say the 18th. Did I write it down? I think it's October 18th.
Okay.
And there's one here in town. I'll be at that. And I really think this is going to be a huge movement, but I think we got to be very careful because I think people are looking for any reason for violence as we can segue into the Portland situation. But sure, free speech.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, what did you want to say about free speech? That was more so your thing.
Well, we were going to talk about it last week, but so much stuff came up that I was really upset.
Tax issues came up last week. Yeah.
Yeah, that, oh,
Yeah.
was that last?
Mm-hmm.
That feels like months
It was a
ago.
week ago tonight. Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's right, because
Mm-hmm.
we had that little, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had wanted to talk about the whole, late night comedians that are being fired and set up, but they've all been brought back and they've all been put back on all the networks.
Okay.
So there's really not much to talk about, but I
Okay.
do think we have a very fundamental thing we all need to really be vocal about and adamant about, and that is the First Amendment and our right to free speech.
Mm-hmm.
And you can say whatever to me, and I can disagree and not like it and argue or debate, but I will always stand by your right to say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and what I'll add on to it about is that the sort of like bullying mob tactics from the FCC were very interesting, and those appear to have been walked back. There have
Very walk back.
Yes, there have been a lot of free speech issues that extend beyond the current era in politics. You know, like there are major free speech issues that are sort of plaguing us in an ongoing basis. Um, the deplatforming of people who are far outside the Overton window. See, what's interesting about this is that uh, Jimmy Kimmel is not just within the Overton window. He's one of the gatekeepers. You know, like he's one of the people who gets paid, you know, eight figures a year to sort of set what the narrative parameters are. So as far as like an object of a free speech battle, he's not the one I would have picked. You know, because um, he's towing the line and he's keeping his commentary within a certain framework regardless. Whereas a few years ago, like 6 to 8 years ago, you saw people, whether they were dissident right or dissident left, being tossed off of social media all over the place because they were saying things that were not endorsed, that not within that Overton window. So to me, like Jimmy Kimmel is not the big free speech battle. You know, like you're sort of more so battling to preserve like a rich guy's inflated salary.
And
What?
it's not 8 figures. So,
Okay. So are you sure?
yeah.
Okay.
But 8 figures would be
Poor Jimmy. Rachel Maddow makes eight.
does he? I think it built up to that because first it was Colbert, but Colbert wasn't just suspended
he's
and
another person.
completely taken off. The whole franchise was canceled and not for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I see all this is like this is cancel culture. Wasn't that the big fuss about the other side and cancel culture and whatever? It's just there's just so much hypocrisy going on. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, and I can see what you're saying. That shouldn't be the litmus test for free speech because
Yeah.
there's far more things happening.
Worse
I'm
things
sure
have
people are
happened.
jailed in a state or local level
Yeah.
for saying something innocuous because
Yeah.
somebody. I get that, but to bring it to the national stage of speech, to get us all talking about it, it had to be a national person.
Well, the FCC kind of making a gangster move was like the big thing that was of note. You know, if the FCC, you know, issues this ominous, like vaguely threatening statement to a private company, you know, what does that really mean? You know, and I'm less offended by the idea of get rid. I'm offended by the idea of get Kimmel or else. I'm less offended by this other idea of, like ABC, NBC, CBS. They have airwaves licenses in addition to what they do through cable. And that's why people with just a set of bunny ears or whatever they use now instead of bunny ears can get free TV. ABC, NBC. So the idea of network television, the idea of saying, okay, these networks are all very obviously politically biased, and they are, like they're very obviously biased toward Democrats. So yeah, network TV.
I disagree. Not
ABC, NBC, CBS. No, you're right. You're right. It's going the opposite. It's going back the opposite.
Because they all need their multi-billion-dollar mergers, Steve. So they'll say whatever. Yeah. The one that disappointed me was CNN. I was like, holy. But anyway.
Yeah. So the idea of them losing that airwave license, that's a special thing that only they get that other people don't get. Like that doesn't offend me nearly as much because I think ideally if we're going to give only a certain amount of those out, there should be more, let's say, diversity in terms of who's got those airwave licenses. But this idea of pull Kimmel off or else, I mean, and going about it in like a thuggish way, like that's obviously very problematic. But what I will say, and I'm never someone that you're going to hear passing out compliments to people like Jimmy Kimmel, but I did watch the monologue, and I think Kimmel knocked it out of the park. Like, I think he gave the
I
best
agree.
possible speech that he could have given.
Yeah, I agree.
And I also appreciate, I think it was very depolarizing, like I think at a time period when since Charlie Kirk was maybe assassinated, we've been closer to this tipping point of possible civil war scenario than I think we've ever been, at least in my lifetime. And I think people I was very critical of CGI President Trump. Like CGI President Trump when he did his hand claspy address could have depolarized. Could have used that as an opportunity
There's been
to
many
depolarize.
opportunities to do that.
Yes, and CGI Trump did not choose to depolarize in that moment. He said leftist violence, leftist violence. Jimmy Kimmel took that spotlight and did the best possible thing to defuse the escalation of the Civil War. I personally think we're not as likely now. I think we're more so on a track to defusing that than heading into more violence currently. But that could change day by day. So as of today, I feel like we're okay.
Let me ask you this: if news is getting colored for financial reasons, which is pretty obvious,
it's getting what for financial reasons?
Colored,
okay,
painted.
Mm-hmm.
Not. There's no what's his name. There's no Walter Cronkite. Let's put it that way.
Well, even Walter Cronkite wasn't Walter Cronkite, but okay. Yeah.
People get well-rounded, objective news.
Oh, you have to you have to actually really do the hard work these days. There are always certain things that the left is going to report on more than the right, and the right is going to report on more than the left. The best way forward is bias transparency. So knowing like what are the biases of the things that I'm listening to, and then as a consumer, you choose a well-rounded diet. Like I said, Walter Cronkite had people pulling his strings as well. Like Walter Cronkite was not Walter Cronkite. It was less of a timber of opinion journalism, unlike what we have in the present. Right now, it's like everything is overtly like just very obviously opinion journalism. But there was never any objective journalism even back then. Like there was just less avenues for getting information to contradict the Walter Cronkite narrative. Like they had more narrative control back then. That's really what it was because there were only 3 television channels.
I think the most important thing to me is if you're going to research and do your own and figure things out, for the love of God, just don't read something on the internet and take it at face value. This has happened to me a lot here lately as somebody was discussing something, but they have nothing to back it up.
Yeah.
And back in my day, back in the boomer days, we would always joke and say, they must read the National Enquirer because that was the one thing everybody knew was complete crap to read for news. Whereas now, almost everything's complete crap to listen to. It's really, really hard. Now, NPR, I think, was good. Reuters was good.
They're both biased.
What's left? I don't think NPR is. I don't agree.
Oh, no, they're very biased. But, yeah, no,
what facts do you base that on?
Listening to it. Like, NPR is biased. NPR is biased. Which, I mean, there's a lot that I like about NPR. Like, they do great. Like, I like their historical news magazines, for example. But, no, they're biased for like center elitist left. So like NPR is like, yeah. So it's like people like Kamala Harris, like it's like that.
Intelligent.
I say Kamala Harris. You heard me say Kamala Harris, right?
Yeah, I did. So you're talking the elitist, Kamala Harris, whatever, center, intelligent people.
Okay, that's what you meant. Okay.
That's what's surprising to me. It's catered to intelligence.
No, they cater to the interests of elite leftists.
So are you saying elite leftists are dumb?
No, I'm saying that like NPR obviously has a bias, and that's what it is. Like they cater to the interests of elite leftists.
Would you say elite leftists have more education than generally speaking? Other things you want to class people as?
Maybe, yeah. They might have degrees. Yeah. Okay. Degrees in education aren't the same thing, but yeah, I mean they might be.
It's some marker.
Is it?
Yeah.
In this day and age. Okay. Okay, so we still on free speech?
No, we've moved on, I think now.
What are we on now?
I don't know. What's something you wanted to talk about the shutdown for military? Do we want to talk about
what do you want to say about the military? What do you observe?
I just think using, oh my God, What the speech?
Oh yeah, the double decker speech. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
What did you take away from it?
Well, in the military, we're going to have standards now because we have the highest standards. No beard, no women, and you can't be fat. Wouldn't that eliminate the commander?
They didn't say no women. They just said
They're
the women.
changing things where they can't compete. Like, they have to do the same amount of sit-ups or push-ups, which is impossible.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, some women will be able to get it, don't you think? What?
Very few.
Very few. Okay. So, but that's just for combat. So, are they going to kick people out who don't meet the combat spec?
From the sounds of it, and from the history of these misogynist people that are so-called leaders, the Fox Host people that are running our government, they want women home and pregnant.
They, so you think that this is a ploy to get women out of the military?
Pretty much. Yeah.
So they want to push women out of the military.
White men must take over this country again.
What? Because white men have to take over the country.
Yes.
Okay. So what did so you objected to the implied sexism, and what else did you object to? Did you object to the idea of the physical standards?
There should be physical standards, of course. You have to go through boot camp. I know one of my daughters went through boot camp when she joined the Navy.
Yeah.
But they were making it like if you've been a general or colonel or whatever, because there was generals in the obviously weren't then, because you've been in there 20 years, you're retired, you have administrative duties, like they shouldn't be there. It was all about faith. Okay, there's this thing in China called faith, and at all costs, you must keep that face on.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
So keeping face on. Meaning
things have to look good. To hell with what kind of person they are if they look good. Hey, maybe that's why there's the female Mar-a-Lago look now. Have you noticed that?
No.
They all have the cheek implants and the big poofy lips and the Christy No. Look at a picture of Christy Nome 5 years ago and now. Look at a picture of Laura Loomer 5 years ago and now. Carolyn Levitt, Pam Bondi, all of them. They're this weird, bloated, distorted, Botox Barbie look. It's gross, creepy. Separate-wise, I'm telling you, man. Anyway.
Well, as trans women age, they have to do more surgery to make the face look right.
Carolyn, yep, oh, yeah. It's just kind of weird, but anyway.
Yeah.
That's about a look. There's a certain look they want to have because they're all TV people.
Yeah.
This is our lives have become we're the game show. We've gone from Let's Make a Deal to Survivor,
Yeah.
And it's based on looks and fake stuff and it's all about face. That's what I took out of that movie.
Okay. All right. So they were talking about, and then was there some sort of insinuation that we're going to be expecting more troops in the city?
And this is where it was all going. Yeah. After all the aesthetic and cosmetic crap they talked about. Yeah, it's like you need to be prepared because the war is here.
The war is here. The enemy was there.
The enemy is us.
And so we're expecting to see more troops in the cities, right?
Democratic cities.
In democratic cities, yeah. I would expect that as well. And you guys are circling back to my take. I think we've been under a state of covert martial law, so this is more like martial to me. This is more martial law kind of coming out of the closet. I'm not quite as offended by the idea of the physical standards because from what I have been told, it does seem that some of that has gone a little lax in recent years. It would be good to have more combat readiness in terms of physicality, but I did hear something of what you heard, which is that okay, some of these new standards are going to be used to move people around. My concern is that I don't want to see people fired over this. Like if people have been hired under a certain set of rules and then you change the rules and then you use it to try to push people out, like this idea that you said about wanting to push women out, that kind of thing. I don't want to see it being used for firing people, but in general, I'm pro health and physicality standards. Like I think maybe some of this could be good.
But this isn't a military issue. This is an American culture issue.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Another interesting thing about when I was living in China, I think it was maybe 30 years ago.
Yeah.
There just weren't any fat people, and when I was there was very few. Yeah. But childhood obesity is now a problem. Do you know what that coincided with?
In America or China?
China.
Um, McDonald's.
The integration of fast food from this country.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
Right.
They don't have many, at
Right.
least not in most towns. Now, of course, Shanghai and Beijing, they're going to have pretty much everything.
Yeah.
But where we lived, which is, there was like 15 million people in this city. It wasn't tiny.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we were on the outskirts. They had KFC is the one they really like, and it's so cute because it gets served with rice, and their apple pies are made with like red beet.
Oh, cute.
It's really interesting, or rhubarb and different
Oh,
things.
rhubarb. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Different things, but
Mm-hmm.
anyway, KFC is their number one, and then they got McDonald's, and a Burger King had opened in the big part of the city,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much it as far as it. But it's those fast foods came. Now they've got the childhood obesity issue, and then when we left after 10 years, we started seeing overweight adults.
Mm-hmm.
So our diet is
Yeah,
not only poisoning us, but the world.
yeah, the diet's terrible. Maha is doing some good things on that, so that's good. Yeah, Maha. But yeah, but yeah, it is a diet issue, but part of it just in general, standards everywhere have been lax to accommodate the interests of the corporate sphere, including the food sector, which produces a lot of corn-based products that are subsidized. So yes, I mean, I think that really more standards all across the board would be great because I would even have a criticism in healthcare. So much of what healthcare is about alleviating symptoms so that you can continue to do whatever toxic lifestyle practices you've adopted. That's a lot of what we're dealing with, and it's so inefficient economically speaking. In addition to just the general public health crisis of like more than half of our country being in a state of having chronic illness at all times.
Yeah, that's true. But what about having a beard? How is that jeopardizing our health?
Well, I personally that's a totally military thing, and I would defer that to someone who's inside of the military. As
beards now. I'm proposing no beard.
As millennials, we like our beards, but for me, combat readiness, that's not something I even have an opinion on, beard or no beard.
I don't think a beard affects your combat readiness, Don.
As a millennial, I would be inclined to agree, but I don't have a military background. I don't know what the arguments to the contrary are.
Okay, well, beard. Then I know you already got to shave your head. What about pubes? What about arm hair? Do we need to get rid of pit hair?
Yeah, again, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. My answer is always
great. I'm just saying, think about it logically. It's silly. Okay.
Well, it just depends on the length of the beard. I mean, a beard this long could be a threat because I could pull someone's beard.
Okay.
Like
I'll buy that.
I can pull someone's beard and then jerk them around.
Okay, but if you've got nothing but what's under your nose, I don't think there's an issue. A little mustache and talking about under your nose. I
don't know. Someone could jerk.
Why don't you pull your damn nose hair for that? Let me try. Let me see if I can pull your nose hair.
Why don't we move on? So I don't know. I mean, in general, I'm not pro dress codes in general, like in employment, but I do think that there's a different thing happening with combat readiness that beyond my scope. Okay, moving to local, yeah.
Yeah, we're ready to move to locals.
Yeah.
Let me cross this bit out. All right, let me start with events. Coming up, and this is where we're going to be, one of us will be covering, it'll probably be me because I've got these times free, but we haven't really discussed it if you want to cover these or do them together. Anyway, we're going to attempt, one way or the other, to cover the 3 political events coming up. On October 5th, this Sunday at 5 o'clock at Oak Level Fire Department, there's going to be a town hall hosted by Jeff Oak, who is running for District 5. I don't know who else will be there, but we will. And I've certainly got some questions because I've been spending some time in Vernon Hill, and there's an issue there I'd like to ask about.
So at Oak Level Fire Department.
Oak Level Fire Department, Sunday at 5 o'clock. We will be there. The next one, and he said it's past H&H on the left.
Okay. So it's on 360. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Now, on the 7th, at the Union Ruritan Club, there's a candidate forum. I haven't gotten word on who's going to be there or who was accepted. I'm going to assume from all my experience over the last week, let me say presume, not assume. I'm going to presume that the candidates running will be there and no one else.
The challenger candidate.
Right.
And so that's Tuesday the 7th at 6:30 p.m. at
Union Ruritan
Union Ruritan.
on the corner of Grubby Road and Union Church Road.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, it's supposed to be for anyone involved in the election, but I got a feeling there's like 3 people that are going to show up. So anyway,
Right.
then we've got on the 18th at something called Giant Poplars, which I think is in Halifax.
Okay.
There's at 4 o'clock, candidate Miller, who's a delegate for the 40th district.
Candidate for the delegate position.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Gary Miller. He's running as a Democrat for the state delegate position.
Yeah, he's hosting an event at Giant Poplars on the 18th at 4 o'clock, and I'm going to try to go to that one too. So that's 3 we're going to try to get to, but we can't make 100% promises because we do, have jobs and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So those are the 3 events, and I also briefly wanted to talk about, because I didn't get to tell you about a lot of this.
Okay.
I covered the Harvest Festival like months ago. When did I go? Was it last
Saturday?
4 days anyway. I was there probably 2 or 3 hours, and I had to split it up into 2 podcasts, like A and B.
Mm-hmm.
These are the ones I'm calling Getting to Know You.
Okay.
So I got to know a lot of people.
Oh, good.
There were food vendors, arts and crafts. There was a lot of local things like the Popo, like South Boston Police Department had a booth.
Okay.
The fire department had a booth, and I know one of them was a volunteer thing.
Yeah.
And forgive me for not remembering all the details. There was a couple churchy things there. There was 2 bands, a jazz band and a rock band, like on each opposite end of the street. They had all the center of South Boston turned out. Unfortunately, rain kind of was intermittent and threatened on and off, so they didn't have the crowd they hoped to have.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to interact with a lot of vendors. I talked to some just kind of people on the street. A lot of people do not want to be videoed or filmed and don't want to participate. Right. And that's fine, and I try to always ask first. Mm-hmm. I got to meet the kids of the junior ROTC and the dude that, like, teacher that oversees that. God, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Okay. But that was a great conversation. Those kids were so enthusiastic. And this is something I want to do too. I want to catch kids at their events, like football games and stuff, and do interviews with them. Mm-hmm. This is who we need to listen to. This is who we need to communicate with, our young generation. Okay. Some of the things I saw there, like resin, one girl made resin products. There was a couple of candle products there. Mm-hmm. One of them did what they call sublimation. They go around cups and they make, like glass cutting boards and stuff. Some really good stuff. But one girl I was talking to, and I was asking her how long she had done this and how she liked it, and I think she'd left her job to do it full time. It hit me. It was like an epiphany. Mm-hmm. I hear a lot of these employers are like, people just don't want to work these days, but it's not that simple. It's simply not that simple. I agree. I always say maybe they don't want to work for you, but when I was talking to this one girl about what she was doing, I realized she had a dream and she went for it. Yeah. How does that compete with working for somebody who dictates your hours, your salary, what you do? It's probably something you don't want to do. So a lot of these people that are not taking jobs are out there trying to fulfill their dreams, and I think that's wonderful. Yeah. So I actually bought stuff from people that normally I may not have done because I really want to support this. Okay. I do wish we had, when I lived in Australia for a couple of years. I don't know if I told you about that, but I did. Mm-hmm. And what I loved about shopping there was each suburb, I lived in the suburb of Sydney, mm-hmm. They had a bakery. Okay. They had a vegetable shop. They had a butcher. Right. And the only thing you went to the grocery store was for stuff like canned goods. Yes. So it was so good to support all these different businesses, get stuff fresh. I mean, the only inconvenience was you had to shop maybe every 3 days, mm-hmm. To get what you needed. But of course, I had a freezer and I froze stuff. Mm-hmm. But I would like to see more of that around. And these farmers markets are attending. The one in Halifax has got a really good thing going on. Yeah. I really like that. The arts and crafty stuff is good, right. But I'd like to see a bit more about people being able to go there for their daily or weekly needs. So, so the Harvest Festival was great. I really enjoyed it. The jazz band, I really wanted to talk to them, but by the time I got back around there, they had wrapped up. The other band, rock band, they were okay. The vocals, it's difficult to sing Guns N' Roses, let's put it that way. But there was a man standing on the corner who was from here and had moved away and came back, and he was talking about class reunions, mm-hmm. But most of the people were dead. It was just really, really interesting conversation. I loved it. I had a great time.
Great.
And next time I do something like that, we're trying to get business cards to hand out
Mm-hmm.
because I would really like for these people to be able to go and see this or show
Mm-hmm.
the kid from one of the kids from the junior ROTC, his grandfather's Monty Thompson. One of the interviews we did, he was like, "Oh, your grandfather," and I'm like, "Really, who?" And that was begat a good conversation.
Oh, cool.
It's a real good, feel good moment. And that brings me to. Sorry, I'm not trying to dominate. Jump in here, ask questions if you want. The website. I asked one of these Facebook groups. I asked them to tell me the names of all the communities in Halifax County, and my God, we're up to 58 already.
Mm.
So what I'm trying to do is incorporate it into the website. I'm trying to make just a thumbnail for now, but I really, really need volunteers. So if you're from one of these communities, like Elmo, Christy, Delilah, there's so many. I'm flabbergasted. I felt so ignorant that I'm having to learn, having been here 20 something years. I'm learning so much about Halifax County that I didn't know. It's embarrassing. But I'm doing a thumbnail of a map right now, but I'd like it when you could click it and somebody's either doing a video, telling a story, some history of your area, what's in your area, upcoming events of your, like each community having their own little web page that we could go in and click. But what a wonderful way for us all to get to know each other and connect. When I was a kid, all we had, or young adult,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to call me, all we had was the local newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually grew up to be the editor of that newspaper, so it was a cool full circle moment.
Mm-hmm.
But what we had in those paper was Pine Mountain Valley Baptist Church News, and they'd write a column.
Right.
So and so Methodist Church, and they'd have a column. This area, this happened. But it was in the newspaper. What I'm trying to do, but I'm doing it digitally,
Yeah.
and we can incorporate photos and videos. I think videos would be awesome. So I'm really, really excited about this. But honestly, the website's overwhelmed me a little bit because I've got a lot going on with it. But the community section I'd like for people to look at and contribute. And I'd really like volunteers from these places so that we could update. I mean, we update it once a month. And I'm still trying to get the municipalities, but I honestly haven't had time to go and talk to the right people.
Right.
So that's new. And then I've added a tab on the front page about the election. I've added another tab on the front page about all the local grocery prices. I'm going to track it every week so we can all have something in common to talk about. Eventually, I'd like to have a bulletin board where we can all converse with each other. But this community connection, it's the name for it, community connection.
Someone's already got that name. I'm sure.
Own it now. Halifax County Community Connection.
Okay.
Halifax County, Virginia Community Connection. How about that? Because I think the more we get to know each other, some of all this division is going to melt. Because I've actually had people tell me, they're like, I really like you, Lisa, except you're a Democrat. And I told you the story about a friend of mine. He said, well, if it's a civil war, I'll have to kill you and your family. And I was like, hey, that's what we need to move away from. Okay, I've talked too much. I'm getting bored.
Board. Okay, so now let's do, thanks for the website update. Now, what we talked about.
Community
Okay, I'm talking. I'm talking now. Okay, so what, now you're done. Now you're done. So, so, and then what we're going to do as well, and what we talked about is make it 8 pages instead of 58 pages, because it's actually really crazy to think that we're going to have people develop. Yeah. So like per election district, we'll say election district 2, and then you can have at the top, like, these communities or these cities, that kind of thing. Because I think it'll be more worth the click anyway. Like Elmo's not going to have enough events, to warrant its own page, for example.
History and stories and people.
If you want to maintain 58 pages, you go right ahead.
I've already got that.
You go right ahead.
I can do that.
Okay. All right. Now, are we going to do this other thing, Mr. Claiborne topic? Okay.
Moving on to the politics.
Yes. Okay. And then, all right. So, Mr. Claiborne, the current chair of the Board of Supervisors, gave a very enlightening Facebook post, and he tagged 198 people. He tagged 98 people in it, besides himself. And and then you interpreted this as like a response to some of the controversies that have been happening, and I interpreted it that way as well. So I'll go ahead and read it. Fellow citizens of Halifax County, Virginia, we would like to express our gratitude for the opportunity to have served on the Board of Supervisors for the past year. Change inherently prompts opposition from those who have held power. The loss of power often precipitates a quest to regain it by any means necessary, a fundamental aspect of human nature. The phenomenon that was a self-report, right? This phenomenon has been evident over the past year. We have chosen to accept it without reprisal, as silence frequently presents the most effective remedy to opposition. Okay, I'm going to reread that. We have chosen to accept it without reprisal, as silence frequently presents the most effective remedy to opposition. Okay. Progress serves as the most compelling justification for change. Now, just think about, what does that sentence actually mean? Progress serves as the most compelling justification for change. Just think about, like, does that sentence actually mean anything? Okay. Notwithstanding the narratives presented in the news media, you gotta go. Okay.
Yeah.
Notwithstanding the narratives presented in the news media and on social media, substantial progress has been achieved. We have gone about county business in our quest to make Halifax County a great place for our youth and others who want to live in our community. Our objective has been about future growth and progress. It is essential for our citizens to be aware of this. Since January 2025, numerous developments have occurred, rendering this the most productive year in the history of the Halifax County Board of Supervisors in terms of advancements in the following areas. Industrial development. And really, he lists like there's going to be multiple headings, but there was just that one heading, industrial development. Okay. Number one, about a year ago, the majority of the Board of Supervisors thought it necessary to restructure the Industrial Development Authority, or IDA. We initially started by not making reappointments to the IDA, but replacing them with new faces. This move subsequently led to 3 remaining IDA board members' resignations, leaving only 1 member, Ryland Clark, on the new IDA board. We thank the old board for its service and contributions to the county. Okay, that was number 1. Now, number 2, the current IDA board now consists of the following individuals: Ryland Clark, chairman; Joel Medley, vice chairman; Linwood Height, treasurer; Amy Barber, secretary; Reverend Jack Stewart; Tyrone Barksdale; Earl Howerton. The most significant addition to the IDA was the return of Brian Brown as executive director. His expertise and aggressiveness toward accomplishing his goal is the key factor to our success. Brian, along with this board, have placed Halifax County not only on the state and national map, but on the international map, in closing out a deal worth $457 million, which will be placed in our county's economy. Well, that's an assertion right there. Over the next 2 to 5 years.
Do you know what that is?
Well, he's asserting that money is going to be placed within the local economy.
Yeah, but where's it coming from? What's the deal?
Oh, this is the deal this is the Hitachi expansion announcement that was rolled out earlier this year. Okay. It has been said by some key major people in this Hitachi expansion that this deal would probably not have come to fruition without the restructuring of this IDA board or the return of Brian Brown as executive director. We thank you, Brian. Okay, so what's interesting here is that each number is supposed to be an accomplishment of the board, right? But this, I mean, where was the accomplishment? The accomplishment of number 1 was we restructured the IDA. The accomplishment of number 2 is we restructured the IDA. You see what I'm saying? So like they're not actually listing. Okay. All right. Number 3. Since the Hitachi expansion, it has been said that prospective businesses with an interest of locating in Halifax County have made inquiries.
Been said by whom? That'd be my question.
Yeah. So assertion accomplishment number 3 is rumors that people have expressed interest in relocating their businesses here without specific examples being cited. Okay. All right, accomplishment number 4, still under the same heading of industrial development. For years, the properties owned by IDA on behalf of the county have been at less than 50% occupancy In less than a year, this new IDA board and executive director Brown have occupancy at 100%. This includes the Daystrom building. Okay, so now they say that they have occupancy occupancy in all of the, incubation properties, all the rental properties for businesses. They now have that at 100%. Still kind of feels like all one thing, right?
Well, and I'd want to know where, what? I see empty buildings everywhere.
Well, so it'd be the properties that are owned by Halifax County IDA. So
Okay.
Halifax County IDA has a lot of subdivisions within the building that they occupy, that they rent out to other people.
And he's saying it's 100%. I disagree because that place near the fire department here in town, that belongs to them.
Well, there's more than one IDA, so like there's also South Boston IDA.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm just going by a past conversation with someone at the IDA, and I know a couple places they said they owned
that
are
they,
still unoccupied. So I would ask for details and specifics on that.
I would too, because I don't accept the premise. Yeah, I would like to know more about that, and but that bit right there, I'm not sure, depending on which IDA owns which building. And then number 5 is there is more to come. So that's accomplishment number 5 of the major things they've accomplished this year. So 4 of them are just changing the IDA. 3 of them are just changing the IDA. One of them is rumors of new companies coming here because they changed the IDA. And number 4, of course, is an assertion that now they have all of
100%.
they have 100% of the properties currently occupied and paying rent. I assume that also is implied there. So number 5 is there's more to become before the end of this year in industrial and economic development. Those announcements will come within the next few weeks. Yes, Halifax County is on the move. With change has come progress. With the right choices from now on, progress will continue. This has been the best year in terms of progress of any board of supervisors in the history of Halifax County. And you know what? Before this year is over, as we just stated, there is more to come. No specifics, nothing hinted. We thank you for your patience in allowing us to do our job for the county in silence. in its best interest. But now it is time for transparency. He says that having revealed nothing in this statement. Okay, let's continue to move forward. Halifax County is in the house.
No, you got to say it as it was intended, trying to pretend you're young.
Halifax
County in the house.
I'm racially uncomfortable with this. No, I'm joking. Humbly submitted William Bryant, Claiborne, Stanley Brandon, Keith McDowell, Hubert Cannell, Pete Riddle. Okay. So
start with the quorum.
It's just interesting the process whereby everybody approved this statement. So you have five board members that approved this statement. Was this all done electronically prior to posting this to Facebook? Was there a meeting whereby you guys all got together and decided that this language represented what the 5 of you wanted to reveal to the community? Of course, you can't really have a physical meeting without the whole board and without announcing it. So I guess giving people the benefit of the doubt, this language, I guess, was approved electronically prior to publication.
And wouldn't that still constitute a meeting?
No, I don't think so. Not if it didn't happen in real time.
You know what my first instinct was? He wrote this letter and just stuck their names on it.
Well, that part, I would assume no one would do that.
Because when I read this, if I want to take this down to the most elementary terms, what I'm reading here is I can not address your concerns. I can be silent.
Yeah.
And look at me. I'm great. Hoorah. I'm the best ever. Bye.
Well, he did say he was chair of the best board that has ever existed in Halifax County.
Oh, was all caps letters.
And, and then a lot of these things, you're talking about restructuring IDA, like all 5 of these points are really kind of like connected to that, the points that actually have any substance at all. And none of these actually address the major controversies of the year. Like the IDA was restructured even before they tried to give themselves a raise, right? It's just interesting, this concept, but now it is time for transparency. I mean, there's no transparency
There was
happening
nothing
at all.
shown.
Yeah, well, he didn't address any of the major substantive issues within this statement. This was meant to be an address, a way of contending with the controversies of the board. Like, he didn't really mention any of it. Not everybody agrees that the changes over at IDA are positive. So like you're just kind of like willy-nilly asserting that and just sort of like leaving it there to sit. So no, I don't think that this is a response to anything at all. Like, I just think that this is Claiborne sort of like congratulating himself in long
quiet.
form. Yeah, and just asserting that we don't intend to be transparent. We don't intend to make ourselves accessible whatsoever. I mean, this is just, and we don't have to because we're the best board ever. And look at all these things that we're doing for everyone. That is so much progress. But like, we talked about this poverty issue. These numbers, these things they're bragging about, this is not going to change the poverty issues here in Halifax County. It's not going to change the food security issue here in Halifax County. It's not going to change public transportation. It's not going to change public health metrics either. So like, where's the progress? You can't just say the word progress over and over and then it's just true, naturally true. Like there's no actual progress happening, and the people are telling you that, and that's what the people want you to hear.
Mm.
So, what are your takes or your reactions?
Well, I wrote a big long letter that I was going to post in response.
Did you want to read it?
I've got a copy here.
Not the one with the.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good where you talk there. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I may post as a response. Yeah, I got the post. Oh, right. Yeah, switch with me.
Yeah.
I may post it as a response to the missive that he published, and I'm probably not going to read every detail here because
Okay.
I've been accused of being Tolstoy. I speak too much and I write too much.
Oh, well,
Being succinct is difficult for me. I'm not parsimonious with words because I want to get a point across.
Okay.
But I addressed it to him and said I was writing it in response to this Facebook letter that Sean just read. And I also said I would rather have a sit-down face-to-face interview that you promised me weeks ago, but you will not respond, and it's clear you're not going to do an interview with us, which really disheartens me when you're saying now's the time for transparency. I've also sent text, as you had suggested to me on the live feed the first time you promised the interview, and I don't understand what the deal is with that. Anyway, let me move on. I gave an introduction because I wanted to explain to you who we are and what we're doing. I don't think he's going to watch this. He'll probably just hear it from somebody else. But we have a vision of facilitating building bridges in this county. We want to assist in educating and share resources, and we want to highlight challenges as well as successes. We're not here to say everything sucks and nobody do anything, no progress. We're not here to do that, to be negative Nelly. We want to highlight positive and progress too.
Right.
But when something's wrong, we're going to talk about it. That's why we're called Disturbed Oasis, because we're disturbed about the way things are happening here. So having said all that, we delved deeply into this upcoming election. We have our boots and ears on the ground, listening to citizens and sharing their concerns. We're offering a platform where all governing officials can speak openly and candidly to their constituents, whom they serve.
Right.
And in turn, they can share those concerns, and officials can listen to their insights. Because this county, people here have good ideas.
Yeah.
Not everybody's after you. We like to think of it as giving a voice to the voiceless.
Right.
And that's what we want to use this platform for.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was clear that he wrote this letter in response to the increasing public outcry of the actions of the board. What I got out of this, as I said before, was defensiveness.
Right.
And a need for accolade. Pat me on the back, look at me, I'm the best.
Yeah.
Which is not befitting of a leader.
But it's all we ever get here.
You stated in 9 months that the board is the best board in the history of boards, and I was jokingly saying maybe that should have been in all capital letters. I mean, my goodness. I didn't get any sense of humility in that letter. It was, again, defensive and needy. But what I did get is that you want to stay silent on all the controversial issues we had brought up, and that is, why did you fire Scott Simpson? I've got a lot of evidence about some of the reasons for that, and I didn't want to discuss them publicly until I talked to you, but I may wind up doing that on my Friday podcast. Why did you continue to offer Miss Morgan more salary? You kept upping it and upping it until she accepted the exorbitant amount she's now receiving. Why are two former animal control employees suing you and the board? Why are you against medium meetings?
Yeah, live streaming
I need more coffee.
their business meetings.
Has Ron Braid been pre-offered the county administrator position? Why are there 5 signatures on the essay you published? It continues to show you leave a minority vote out of the loop. I just can't believe that. And like Sean brought up, were they even consulted? Did you just add their names? Or did y'all have a meeting? If you did, it's a quorum and it should have been public.
Right.
So just explaining the origin of this statement you put out here would be important. Why do you do this? Why do we have so many inactive committees? Did you feel another raise was appropriate and why was it walked back? Some votes were changed after that raise was given. Why? These are a few of the questions the Board of Supervisors constituents want to ask you and the board. I would also I lost my place.
If I had my promise
if I had my promised interview, we would have discussed all this before we went on camera. Because I also asked the usual getting to know you questions.
Yeah.
All the other interviews have done the same process. We're not trying to be harmful, but we want to be open and have those hard conversations. Because sometimes you have to have hard conversations in life.
Right.
And it shows maturity and it shows leadership. What is your position on solar and why? How do you feel about race relations in the county? When or how is the board going to address poverty in this county? Because it's not trending downward. Other issues, recreation, childcare, housing, jobs, potential personal conflicts of board members. These are all things that we want to discuss with you as the leader of the Board of Supervisors that you are being a rock against.
Yeah. An immovable object.
An immovable object. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. So most of what I could interpret from your discourse was just to take credit for the IDA breaking up and reforming. I can't speak to that myself because I haven't discussed anything with the IDA members, which I do want to get to know that entity at some point. And then you mentioned the Hitachi expansion filling entity properties, and I said in this letter, which one, to who, for how much? Remember how important those W's are when you're trying to disseminate information out to the public.
Right.
They want to know specifics, who, what, where, when, how, and why.
Yeah.
I believe that if I research, I will find past boards have also made strides and progress in the county. So forgive my skepticism when I cannot concur with you that you've been at the helm of the most successful board of all time in Halifax County. That's a very broad braggadocio comment. It merely fits into the puzzle that we're solving and seeing what we feel like is abuse of power, overt control grabs, and instability. Yeah. When there's instability at the top, it trickles down. And I feel like everyone's clearly seeing the dysfunction of this board. Yeah. Lastly, and I mean no disrespect, please check your spelling and grammar before you put public statements out like this. We didn't even spell Hubert Fennell's name right. Yeah. And I'm a former English teacher, and I'm one of those grammar Nazis online.
Well, and like itemizing the things, he didn't do that part correctly.
Right. Just be more careful and
professional
to be the leader you are. And that's, again, don't mean any disrespect. Yeah. But all of this did not come across in a good way. Yeah. To anybody I can hardly think of.
Oh, other people responded negatively online?
Yes. I talked to a lot of people in person. And that was an interesting thing at the Harvest Fest. I must have asked 20 different people. You had to talk about local politics? No. It was adamant. No. Nobody, because the National Guard was there. I tried to talk to them. No. But we talked about other stuff, so that was cool. Anyway, so there you go. There's his letter and there's our response.
Well, and then so how do you just big picture? How do you interpret this maneuver on his part?
I think he's going to continue to stonewall. And there was also, one last piece. They just got a letter from the school board's lawyer that there's $6 million. It was like 3.3, I think, in the 1% sales tax, and the rest was leftover something from the middle school loans. But it was a total of like $6 million, and they've had to send a lawyer letter to the board asking where's their money, because they had already signed contracts when they were given that money, and now it's not there. This is a big, big deal.
Well, that was for the athletic complex, right?
Yes.
Well, the resolution that they passed approving that specified they didn't have sources for the money, right?
It was coming out of the 1% sales tax in the Overton Middle School.
Okay, but they also specified the money wasn't there yet.
I don't know about that, but contracts were signed based on this.
Okay, well, I just,
It was in the budget.
I'm recalling on when they passed the $10 million, the 10 point whatever million dollars for the athletic complex, the resolution itself said funding pending or.
I've got the lawyer letter.
Okay.
I meant to print that for you. Sorry, I forgot it.
Yeah.
The lawyer letter's on the desktop.
Yeah.
It explains it better. And I can post these things if y'all want. I can post all these letters.
I agree with all that. But yeah, no, it just seems to me like that piece may be I'm not gonna call it a nothing burger, but it's like hold your horses, school board, like the money's not there, right?
But again, all of this are pieces to the puzzle of this board of supervisors.
Yeah.
Under the leadership.
Well, my thing is that if the money's not there, don't pass the resolution. Like that.
Don't sign contracts, of course.
Yeah, don't pass the resolution because, and then if the money's not there, then the school board shouldn't have pursued the contract.
Do you want me to pull up the lawyer letter real quick?
No, I don't know. This is more of a minor topic, but but in general, so how do you interpret it? Because is this election, is Bryant Claiborne going to still be chairman of the board?
That's what this is going to boil down to.
In January. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you think? What do you mean by that?
I don't think he's going to be
okay
chairman after this election.
Okay. So
and we've got a lot more information to share with the public. We're just waiting on FOIAs because I've got a lot of paperwork coming from social services, from the board of supervisors. But if they feel like they can't produce the information in 5 days, they can give an additional 7 days, which they've all opted to do.
Okay.
But at some point, this paperwork's coming, and we're going to discuss a lot more because we feel like there's way more behind this stuff.
Well, there's way more worthy of disclosure or talking about, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we have to have the information in hand, and that was something I wanted to share tonight too. If you want to call me, text me, phone call, whatever, that's great. Email. Just make sure you have something to back up what you're saying, because it's difficult to chase something down if I don't have evidence, so to speak.
Yeah.
To give you a perfect example, on a group on Facebook, Todd, you know who you are. He was posting something, but it was conjecture, and I can't find anything to back up what you're saying.
Right.
That's important. Now, I have found a little more information, but it's not enough to back up what you're saying.
Right.
So I'm more than happy to support something controversial or speak out, but I've got to have that in hand.
Yeah, we're pursuing all tips, and this is a volunteer team, so if you guys want us to work faster, then go over to Patreon and pay us. Period.
Or there's a donation tab.
Yeah, donation tab.
We
want monthly income, so go over to Patreon and subscribe.
We're also showing advertisement. Oh, I didn't tell you, we have our first advertiser.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, I'll tell you that later.
Okay. Now we're at almost an hour 10. Are we ready to wrap up?
Are we? Yes, definitely. Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone. That's what we have today. Anything?
Yeah. Please follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. These are ways you can really help us.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some good interviews coming up over the next, let's say, 10 days, a couple of good ones.
Yeah.
We're going to cover these local political things. We'd love to see you there. And hopefully we'll have business cards